The other twin was having failure to thrive, and was not doing well. And this one nurse finally said, "I don't care what we're supposed to do here. I'm going to put these twins together." And he puts them together, and the good twin puts its arm around the twin that's having problems, and then they both started doing
Being
well.
fine. Wow. Ooh, that gave me goosebumps.
Okay, you get to that point, and then your heart's wide open. And then just start slowing down your breathing, and you can just get one of those 4 words, appreciation, caring, compassion, or gratitude, or all 4 of them, and just continue that. That's one of the ways to get the heart-brain coherence.
Wow, I'm going to have to look into that. That sounds fascinating.
And then there's the ear clip that you can put on and plug into your phone.
Right.
They actually have a Bluetooth version of that also now.
Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah. And so you can by doing that, the reason I got that is to be able to feel when I was actually there.
Right.
Have you can print it out, I guess.
Because then once you know what it feels like, then you can know when you're there without any of that. Yes, that's very good. But you kind of you kind of knew all along, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're there.
Uh-huh.
Everything's just in the flow.
Right. Yes, and you don't fight anything. Sometimes I know when I was doing the show, this is a really good example of that. When I was doing the show and I really wanted to do this women's network.
Uh-huh.
And I kept trying and things just weren't working out. And this friend of mine, he doesn't even realize he's a philosopher, but he is. He said, "You need to just focus on the show. And if the network is supposed to happen, it'll happen in its own time."
Yep.
And that sounded like pretty good advice. And so I stopped focusing on the show. And then little by little, things started going in that direction. And then, boom, something big happened. And it happened.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't time yet. And I think that's a problem with a lot of us. Because we're so used to immediate self-gratification that we expect it to happen.
We live in a world of time. We're to the other side of the veil where we come from. There is no time.
Right.
Time can be considered an illusion.
Right.
And
that's a hard thing to say to somebody.
It is. Well, what I tell people a lot of times is just declare yourself healed, believe it, and then wait for the biology to catch up.
That's right. That's what Joe Dispenza says.
Yeah.
You have to believe that. You can't say, "I am healing."
Yeah.
You have to say, I am healed.
I'm there.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
That's exactly what Joe Dispenza says. Yes. And it's just like how your body believes your mind. It's that mind-body connection that they're just now finding out. It's like one of the first examples I ever read of that was, and Joe Dispenza did another thing too. When they were training athletes to win, they were supposed to feel themselves crossing that finish line. Just feel that feeling. And it was working. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, they ran an experiment where they brought people in off the street, and they gave, let's say, 12. I don't remember how. I could be lying, but for the sake of
just
dialogue.
Number, yeah.
Okay. So they brought in 12. 6 they put in one room, and 6 they put in another room. The 6 that in the first room, they gave an exercise routine to do. Did you ever hear this before?
I think so, but go on. Yeah.
And for 6 weeks or something. And I'm stuck on 6s today. And the other group, they taught to meditate. And as they meditated, to do those exercises that the other ones were doing physically. Yeah. Right. And the people that were meditating doing those exercises had better results than the people that were actually physically doing them.
Yeah. I have heard that before, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. Well, Michael Jordan, that basketball player,
Right.
he said before he would shoot the ball, he would see it go through the hoop.
Ah.
He had that visualization thing down.
Huh.
Also.
And evidently it worked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
Very interesting.
And then there's the parking angels that people use sometimes. Like, okay, I'm going to go someplace where I know it's going to be crowded, but I envision this parking space opening up for me.
I often use that.
Yeah, and it's
in
amazing.
bad weather.
Yeah, and amazing how it works. Yeah, a lot of times I definitely need to park at the back of the parking lot,
right.
get some exercise.
And I had friends that took a year-long course far away, and it went all winter. Mm-hmm. And before the course started, they visioned themselves driving up there all winter long on perfectly fine roads. Every time that they had to meet, and I think it was twice a month, in the winter, they had perfectly fine roads.
Yeah.
There'd be a snowstorm like the next day or a couple days before, but never on the day that they were driving. Manifestation is huge.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yes, it is. Are you into that as well?
Yeah. Like flying down to Jacksonville, I just envisioned, it was a perfect trip.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You paved.
Yeah, I actually used Lyft, like that Uber thing, to get, an Airbnb. And I was talking to my daughter who lives out in Los Angeles, and she about that. She goes, "Oh my God, my dad's a millennial."
My son lives in Long Beach.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yes. Where does your daughter lives? Right in Los Angeles?
They live in Reseda, and she works in North Hollywood for a clothing store. She's a pattern maker for. Wow,
cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and my son-in-law is working in digital media. I'm not sure. I think he just got a new job. I'm not sure what it is. But.
Nice. And my son is a musician, but he went to art school, so he also, his fallback to thing is he works in an art gallery and sells art and then goes and sets it up in a lot of Hollywood homes. Well,
David Byrne and the Talking Heads, they were all art students that formed the Talking Heads.
Right.
That was.
Gosh, that was a long time.
It was a long time
with those crazy hats and stuff.
The big suits.
Yes. They were funny. So very cool. That's very interesting. So you like Abraham. What other books do you like? What other authors?
Lee Carroll.
I don't know Lee Carroll.
He and his ex-partner, I can't remember her name, wrote the Indigo Children books.
Oh, right.
And Lee also channels an entity named Cryon.
I know Cryon.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I've seen Lee 4 or 5 times.
Ooh, in person.
Yeah, in Big Rapids and Grand Rapids. Every 2 years he'll come through town. And about 2 or 4 years ago, he did a brief lecture and then a short channeling about, this is really amazing. It was about self-worth in the old soul. And usually I'm listening intently and all this kind of stuff and just, absorbing the message. This time, my eyes were glued shut and I became, tears are just going down my cheeks and I'm just feeling myself getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It just didn't stop.
Wow.
I just felt like at one with everything. And then when it came back, the channeling was over and it opened my eyes. I couldn't talk.
Wow.
I couldn't talk. I was just like, the person I was with, I just went and just got up and just started walking around. Wow. And people were up there getting books signed and talking to them and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just walking around just getting used to what happened. And then finally he was alone, and I just went up, and the first words I could say was this: I have never felt more different than I do right now. And he just smiled and nodded his head. Yep.
Wow.
It was really an amazing place to be.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've not seen anybody yet live like that. I think it would be really cool to go see Esther Hicks.
Oh, yeah.
I have friends that often go on the cruise ships. They just got back from one a couple months ago.
Yeah, I would love to do that, too.
That would be really cool.
Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's put that in the future, then.
Right. So start writing it down. So, very cool. So where do you practice acupuncture and this machine?
I've got an office in Saginaw.
1111
Energy Works is the name of the business.
Are you there every day?
By appointment.
Okay. So how does one make an appointment?
Oh, just call 989-450-8800. And please leave a message.
1111 Energy Works.
Yep. And that came from seeing 1111 on digital clocks for no reason. Just looking up, and I'll be driving and look at the radio or look in the general direction of the radio, and there's 1111. It's 11,
Right.
a lot. Just, and even playing these ridiculous games on my phone, the score would be 1111.
That's funny.
And so 11 is a
prime
breaks
number.
down to a 2,
Right.
But it's also 11. It's got its own energy.
Yes, it does.
Like 22 and the 33. Oh, there's another really cool thing. The 33 miners that got trapped in the mine in Argentina a while back. They were there for 33 days, and 33 of them, and they all came out at the 33rd hour or something like that. And 33 just kept happening. Here's another thing that having to do with that. The scientists put a bunch of satellites out around the planet to measure magnetic response or something having to do with sunspots or solar flares to see if we can get an early warning system or how to deal with these things. And what they found, what was going on, was during the first time it happened was when Princess Diana dies in this crash. The whole world was, oh my God. And there was a measurable response to this. The satellites measured something in the planet's energy from that. Then it happened again in 9/11 in 2001. It spiked. And then it happened again with that tsunami that hit Indonesia and all that kind of stuff, and thousands of people lost their lives. And then the first time it spiked from a positive outcome was with those 33 miners when they were rescued. And there's
wow, I'm getting goosebumps again. That's really cool, isn't it?
It really is.
So
it's the consciousness is measurable.
Yes.
and it can change who and what we are.
So if
what
you
we think of who
if you think that you can't make a difference, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And when people do unite, things happen. Yes, I think that's amazing. One of the things that I wish I could have made it to was when they did a group meditation and healing at the Flint River for the water. I wish I could have been there because I bet that was phenomenal. I bet
just
that was
to be
really
in that
cool.
kind of energy, yeah.
Right, and we need to do it for all our water. Before you drink it even, you should be giving it good energy.
Yeah, give thanks.
Mm-hmm. And love.
Yeah.
Yes. We have an experiment going with rice. Do you know about that? About the rice experiment?
I'm not sure.
I wish I could remember the Japanese man's name. I think it's Mishimoto or something like that. He also did the water experiments and the snowflake experiments and all those things. What was water into snowflakes? But so he took 3 jars of rice. One he gave only positive feelings to and positive words. The other one he did only negative. And the third one he totally ignored. And the first one that he loved and appreciated had very little mold on it after he did it for a really long time.
Oh, okay.
The second one that he hated and he told it was ugly and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking to you. You're pretty. I have to not let this race know that I.
Oh, they're talking. Yeah,
this
the
is the
race
beautiful
back there.
race, yes. And the pretty one had hardly any mold on it. The one that he spoke meanly to had